Well, not once, not twice, everyone has been on this debacle, talking about the Boko Haram debacle. Well, joining us to look at all of that and the new twist to all of this is Mr. Mahmud Othman, a public affairs analyst. Good morning.
Good morning.
Well, anyway, loads and loads of people were a little bit taken aback when they saw the spokesman before the SSS, Al-Zawahiri, and the twist that finally took its place on that particular case. But again, let's just in case you missed out on this, we'll take you through the happenings yesterday at the courts.
The atmosphere at the Magistrate Court in Wuse Zone 2, Abuja, was not an unusual one as workers went about their duties oblivious of the trial of Senator Mohammed Ali Ndume, the alleged financier of Boko Haram, which was to take place in the court. The arrival of Senator Ali Ndume and the spokesman of the Islamic sect Boko Haram, Malam Alisanda Umar Kunduga, also known as Usman Al-Zawahiri, however, changed the atmosphere. In court, the prosecutor, Mr. Clevo Sage, told the court that a first information report bordering on criminal breach of trust and criminal intimidation had been filed against the two accused persons. Although Senator Ali Ndume pleaded not guilty to the two-count charge, Malam Alisanda Umar Kunduga pleaded guilty and was summarily tried. Senator Ndume was a member of a 7-man presidential committee on security challenges in the Northeast, which had as its primary mandate a mission to identify the faces behind the activities of the Boko Haram sect and their grievances. Senator Ndume, alongside Malam Kunduga, are to remain in the custody of the State Security Service. Senator Ndume is being held pending the determination of his formal bail application, while the sentence of Malam Kunduga is being deferred to allow the service conclude investigation on the matter. Malam Kunduga is the first member of the Boko Haram sect to be convicted since the insurgency of the sect began.
Well, Alaji, all of that has transpired. Can we then say all the stories we've been hearing about some other, maybe some kind of a political undertone to all of this is true after all? Or should we wait till we get to the root of this all?
Well, I think we are right if we start thinking of the political undertones, because in one of these programs we did before, I discussed, or at least I mentioned, the volatile nature of political situation always in Borno State, especially Maiduguri metropolitan area. This goes back all the way into the 50s. And they always take extreme position in whatever they want to do. So it was not a surprise when the Northern Nigeria leader of opposition his house, his office was destroyed. A political party, in those days we had regional parties. And he had to relocate to Jos. We are talking of late 50s into 60s, all the way into 1965 Northern Nigerian election. So it was also not a surprise that somebody like Majority Leader, late Darman, was deported. A Nigerian, 53-year-old Nigerian was deported because of political differences in the Second Republic by MP and government of that time. So when the now AMPP took over from 1999 to date, it is one party that has been ruling the place. This gentleman who is being accused now of collaborating with Boko Haram was an AMPP stalwart, but he decamped in the last election. He went to PDP and so on. And from the confession of the alleged Boko Haram person, Alisanda Kunduga, he is now roping him in as a financier and even the kind of guardian angel of whatever they are doing. We are not surprised, but what is interesting is that all along we keep talking about security and intelligence gathering, which all the security outfits really were not doing. But now at least we are now getting somewhere, because at least only one person, only one lead, you will discover a crime.
Because I remember the last time, or rather once you were here in the studio and you told us how Maiduguri operates, that there's a place that virtually everyone knows the movement of every other person, and you talked about the willingness of some people to volunteer information. With this now, for instance, coming in from Kunduga, do you think we're likely to get more people coming forward, if not even arrested by the State Security Service, to come volunteer information?
I am sure we are going to get more, and if the security people want to do their job properly, they can even have a number anonymous. You call, you give information, you don't have to. So if you are scared that by the time you give information, you are going to be revealed like this gentleman, probably some people will drag their feet. But police should do something. Now, all along we keep talking of that it's not a matter of armored tanks and armored personnel carriers by the entire army taking over Maiduguri. They are not going to get anything, because the people who are doing it is urban guerrilla tactics they are using. And the army, with all their combatants' readiness, they can only do it when they are facing army like themselves. So this simple intelligence gathering, you find out exactly what is going on. You can only do it by endearing yourself to the people, to trust you, so they can volunteer information. But if you go now with guns and so on, you start harassing everybody, walking into houses and searching and so on and so on, or immediately a bomb explodes somewhere, you go and shoot everybody around, or arrest everybody around, brutalize people. So that really created more enemies for the so-called Joint Task Force. But at the same time, those who are doing it are covering their tracks. This is what is happening in Maiduguri. It's just like what happened many years ago with Anini, the culprit in Edo State. Superintendent Iyamu was the godfather, and Superintendent Iyamu was in charge of crime in the police force, police command in the old Bendel. So you have what one of the Yoruba saying that something you are looking in Sokoto is there in your Sokoto, something like that. Something that's very, very close to you, but you are looking somewhere else, which is really red herrings.
You know, you've always said that you're not surprised at the turn of events, but again, are you confident that we'll get to it? As a matter of fact, now we're talking about these suspects now being in the custody of the State Security Service. So we're trying to link it to what we heard when Mohammed Yusuf was caught by the police, and before we knew what was happening, he was dead. So with these two suspects being with the State Security Service, are you confident that we won't have a repeat of what happened during Mohammed Yusuf's?
Well, I think the issue is very simple. Those who quickly killed Mohammed Yusuf and his father-in-law and another gentleman, I believe they must be trying to cover their tracks. They fear that if those people were arrested like this Kondiga, they will on interrogation they will open up. So destroy the evidence before even anybody makes it public. So it's possible. But what is important is that I don't know why it took this long for this man to be caught, because they are using, those of us who listen to House of Service of BBC and Voice of America and so on, we keep hearing these people calling those stations with Nigerian just telephone system, giving them information and giving them threats, giving them a deadline, giving them condition what Nigerian government should do, who should apologize, and so on and so on. Now, all these networks are controlled by Nigerian government. The network providers are here. Any call that emanates from anywhere, they can track it down, they can tell you where it is coming from. So I don't know why. If this gentleman, the SSS is telling us that they found all the recordings and the calls and so on and so on, they can do it with other spokespeople. If it is true, he was their spokesman before, and there are three others who are still at large as spokespeople. It's very simple. He himself can tell you, if SSS do their job properly, he will give them the names of those people who are behind other pseudo names.